we are living in a weird timeline in General Hospital. We've got Jason being a better dad than Dante. We've got Tracy so intent on taking down Sonny that she's teaming with the dumbass congressman. We've got Christina turning a new sane leaf, and Sonny once again contemplating leaving the business. What the hecky darn is happening in Port Charles? Well, we'll break it down. Talk to you after the break. Holy cow, David. It's like everybody had a personality transplant in Port Charles this week. What is going on?
Who could you be referring to, Dante? Oh,
Dante, it's like the writers have like a secret box that they pull out every now and then that on the side it says weird personalities we can use. And they opened the box and they rummaged around in there and they pulled out Dante's name and said, oh, let's make him an ass. Done.
Well, again, we can always fall back on our all-purpose excuse for everything that happens on the Snark, on General Hospital, because plot.
Because plot. Yeah.
We needed somebody to go after Gio, and who better than his very own father?
Oh, the drama.
But I have to say, this is a weird revelation I came to this week while watching this unfold. In some weird way, this whole entire retcon story, I feel, is the first story that has actually been thought out from beginning to middle and where they're going to the end, which is a little scary. But, again, if writers are creating something, they're paying more attention to detail, to how a story is going to unfold, than if they inherit stuff from another writer. I'm going to kvetch about things, but it is a fairly well-written story, and they're hitting all the beats.
So do you think they had this in mind when they hired Gio, or was Gio another parking lot pickup that Frank said, we got to get this guy on the show? But it was like, okay, he's been here for 3 months. How are we going to weave him in? Was it more like that, or did they know this when they started, do you think?
I don't think they knew it when they started.
No.
Hence the retcon.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden we went from Brooklyn met Cody on air a few years ago to all of a sudden, let's start talking about camp. Yeah.
I want camp flashbacks.
This one time at band camp.
I will say this.
Pregnant. Yeah.
Retcon story or no, Giovanni Mazza, who plays Gio, is knocking it out of the park. Frank and his spidey senses really nailed it on this one. This kid is not just a really good musician. He is also really showing his chops as an actor, and whatever if he's taking lessons or coaching or whatever, it is working and I am here for it.
They didn't give him anything to grab onto the first several months he was on. So of course that, again, you have, and we've said this how many times? Oh my God, how many times have we said this? You've got to come in with a story. You can't be Dex, the guy who works at the gym, and then 7 months later they figure out what they're going to do with him. That's not how you get to like a character. How many times do you see on the page someone say, oh, they killed off Dex just when I was beginning to like him?
Right, because we didn't know who he was.
And he was on for 2-3 years. Yeah. It took you that long. You gotta like a character from the beginning, or hate a character, depending on what they're playing. You can't just introduce them and they sit around for months and you're like, what's the purpose? And again, General Hospital with its overbloated cast, we can't afford to have people just sitting around.
Well, let's point to one of our newer cast members who they did intentionally stick into a spot, and that is Marco.
Yep.
We now, granted, this is a new family on the block, right? Because of Natalia and Blaze and all the things, but Marco came in with a purpose. He's going to be with Lucas. He's Sidwell's son. He's going to work with Alexis. They have tied him in. What is this? They have tied him in really well.
They've weaved him in. Oh, crocheter, knitter. Come on, you know the terms.
I really like Marco, though. I will say this. as sad as I am that Perry got on that elevator and walked out the door, I love this character. He's very interesting.
But did Brad really leave? Now, it is General Hospital.
Yeah. Well,
But I mean,
Brad is one who comes in and out.
comes in and
Which
out. Days does this beautifully. They actually weave, and people complain about that. They weave characters in and weave them out. Somebody moves away, but then they come back 6 months later because their job didn't work out.
which is
So
like
they're
life.
very,
Yeah.
hopefully that's GH's purpose with Brad, is like he'll be back, because I kind of feel like, yes, all right, there's the romance that's going on, so he's given up on that and he's given up on his job, but again, he's got ties to his Aunt Selena.
So this is it? You're really leaving Port Charles?
Yeah, I figured it was time to move on. There's no reason for me to stay here. Right?
Right. I think a fresh start would be good for both of us.
Great. You know, this means that I have the whole world open to me with gorgeous models and whatever else I want.
Good luck, Brad.
Good luck to you too.
And there are other things that could be happening with Brad, so maybe they'll bring him back. It's a shame though, getting rid of him right before the nurses' ball, because he's not going to be able to critique it.
Oh my gosh. And again, as many of our Snarkies know, we love Perry Shin. He has been a huge supporter of the page. He engages in conversation and witty repartee with the commenters. So we love Perry, and we hope he sticks around, because, or at least weaves himself back in at some point. Well, he may show up for Porsha's trial when Porsha's finally brought to account for all this.
Well, he's a member of our page, so let's hope he keeps up with the show through us. Now, let's talk about the assholery of Cody.
Cody?
It's like, yeah, I know it's a switch here. You know, he does a good deed, then he has to do something bad. Then he does a good deed, so he saves Rocco. And now he's, drinking at the bar going, oh, there's, coming up with a scheme. It's like, aren't we beyond this? It's like, let's regress his character again.
Although, if it means we get more Selena, which is, I think, that's my take on this. I know a lot of people have a whole lot of things to say about the black credit card and Ava and all this, but I think he's going to say, oh, hang on a second. She's flush. I'm going to bring her to Selena, and then I'll get in good with Selena and all that kind of. I don't know. That's one idea.
It just always seems to be Cody does a good thing, Cody does a bad thing, Cody does a good thing, Cody does a bad thing. And it's tiring. Looks like they're doing that with Danny, although enough people talked to him and said, learn from this or keep doing this,
There's been a whole lot of parenting going on this week, and I just say that.
But is it good parenting? I mean, where's that? I want to see that. This hippy dippy, we were just scared. It's like, where's that parent or parental figure coming in and going, no, that was dumb, and you're grounded for 6 months. And
Carly took that role. Carly stepped up
a little bit, but
and
it was
who else?
gentle.
And I think Sasha did it in a gentle way. Yeah. I mean, at that point, Danny was so beat up by everybody. He was like, are you going to do it too? And she's like, no, I don't really need to. I think you're in enough pain. But by the way, these are the next steps you need to take. And I think she did a good job. But it was like I don't know I'm not in an active parenting role right now. I do grandparent, but somehow I wonder if all the moms at home of teenagers and everything were like, this is not a break for me. I don't want to watch other people dealing with their bad teenagers.
It's just like everybody being so rational in the middle of a crisis.
Well, except Dante.
I didn't, I didn't grow up with Joan Crawford as my mother. But believe me, when I did something wrong, and my family was a family of yellers.
Oh, dear.
Everybody yelled. And who's going to insult who and one up who and everything. So, I mean, I want to see a little bit of that. Not this, we were just scared. We're just so happy you're okay. And the kids are ready for it. Rocco's bracing for it. Danny's bracing for it. Nobody's like giving it to them. I'm not a parent, so what do I know?
Yeah, and I'm sure not parenting these kids who have so much, inherited trauma from the various generations. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah. And for Dante to just like all of a sudden, like, that kid, you were raising that kid, Danny, for how long?
Seriously. The whole thing, I don't know what happened. Somebody must have had a bad clam in the writer's room and decided to do this. I don't know. But,
yeah.
So who else has kind of been, the crazy train this week? We have Kristina, who is turning over a new sane leaf. I'm not going to be crazy anymore. I'm going to forgive everyone. I'm forgiving Ava. No more holding you accountable for pushing me out the window. And Rick, you're such a good uncle and I love you. And oh my gosh, what Kool-Aid is she drinking?
I don't know.
Well, what it means is we need to gird up our loins for the next crazy thing she does, because we all know she's crazy.
Yeah, I'm Christina out at this point. I'm sort of Molly'd out too, if that's
we need another Molly and Cody scene. Maybe,
I don't know.
They seem to temper one another in a good way. I mean, we don't have anything really happening there yet, but they seem to be. I love how TJ just kind of vanished into the ethers and no one's even referred to him.
Maybe Liz will visit him on her hospital tour that she's,
oh my gosh, that is just
visiting all her.
Somebody mentioned, I don't remember if it was a mention on the page or on the Substack app about how we've had all these random deaths and no funerals or no memorials, like Franco, Dex, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're just kind of wafted off to the character closet or the character cemetery.
Well, and again, maybe the writers just think they don't need TJ because they have another black doctor doing all the TJ stuff. Isaiah.
So
and
good.
Just wasting him.
They are. He is the most attractive man on the cast right now. He has the most gentle energy of anyone in the cast right now.
Mm-hmm.
This man needs some love in the afternoon and I need to see this man with his shirt off. I'm sorry. This is just where I am in the whole thing.
They haven't taken their shirts off enough lately for you. I mean, we did get Gio, who was a big surprise.
Oh, okay.
And
dude's been working out.
having their shirts off this week. So there was at least that. But it was funny. I was going through for the From the Snarkcast feature, and it was a couple years ago. And I had a picture of Chase. Apparently he was in a shirtless scene that week. And I said, remember the days they used to have the guys get shirtless every week because it's a soap opera and they're trying to get a lot of women to watch. And it's like, they stopped doing that on GH. It's like everybody got Steve Burton syndrome, where I will not appear shirtless on the air. At least the beach scene in the beginning of May.
I know. First of all, let's just talk weather. I'm not from upstate New York, but I kind of have a sneaking hunch it wasn't 75 degrees that day.
No. And New York City was horrible last week with rain and cold, freezing one day, then muggy the next. So yeah, no. Yeah.
And you gotta love when they roll out the fake boulders. I love the fake boulders.
How out of it Rocco was and called 911, but what gets me the most is Dante. He refuses to believe me when I told him that I didn't give Rocco alcohol because that's the kind of person he thinks that I am.
Who knew when we were making little paper mache whatevers in elementary school that was an actual job?
That's a career. That's a career. That's a career for people. Now let's pivot a little bit because I want to talk about two of your favorites, Emma and Joss. Now I noticed something this week. The reason I like Emma and Joss together much more than Joss and Trina is because Emma makes things happen like Joss, and Trina lets things happen to her.
Ooh, good realization.
It's just like, Oh, I'm standing around in the hospital waiting for my boyfriend to get his surgery. I hope he's okay. Meanwhile, Emma's like, I'm gonna get that professor. I'm gonna hold him accountable. Of course, Joss is, it's her job.
I've been thinking a lot about the summer research position, and I don't want you to freak out if you don't get it, because you have so much to offer, and there's like a million jobs.
No, Joss, you don't get it. Okay, I've worked so hard for that position. It is mine. It has to be.
But I mean, still,
Job.
she's, back and forth with Vaughn, like, I'm gonna get this done. Don't worry. A little snag, but
Yeah, well, somebody made the comment that these two can be the legacy characters in 20 years. These two, because they're so deeply woven into the fabric of the families, I want them to be the next Tracy and Laura. I mean, that's a weird analogy, but you know what I'm saying? I don't want to lose these. Now that they've got Emma cast in such a beautiful way, and Braden is doing an incredible job. She is, wow. And when they let her hair go natural and she looked like a freaking mermaid, she looked incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really.
Well, let's hope these two actresses. I mean, I kind of feel like Eda McCoy is making General Hospital her career. I mean, she's been on at least, I think, almost a decade now, if not a decade.
Oh yeah, and
in the role.
She has the chops. I think they both do, but we know Joss has the chops to really. She can handle any story they throw at her, basically.
Yeah, and even this one that's not very popular, but
I like it. I don't mind this story. In fact, I am remember, I'm of the school of the WSB and capers and let's do the spy thing. That's interesting. And this is sort of like that. I know that there's going to be a kerfuffle when Emma figures out that, this has happened, but I do see them down the road working together. And, in the article I wrote on Substack about them, I said chemistry is not just about romance. It's about how any two people interact with each other. And Joss and Emma have chemistry because, you said, they're very active, engaged, intelligent characters that the writers can do all kinds of cool things with. So yeah, I agree.
And just a note, they're legacy characters because they are the children of veterans. So that automatically makes them legacy characters. They earn it at birth.
Yeah.
But
right. Whereas Trina is not a legacy character because Curtis and the gang.
Well, they're newbies.
They're noobs, right. Well, it's the old thing we talk about again. It's history. These are our friends. We want to know how the relations are doing.
Grew up with these, or they grew up with us, or we grew up with we both grew. They grew physically, we grew hopefully mentally.
And I think the same can be said for Danny and Rocco as well. And Liz's kids. They can, I wish they'd figure out Liz's kids because
we'll just put them back on the canvas. How about that for starters?
Right. They're not even around. And they should have been, I mean, isn't Aiden the same age as Rocco or older?
I believe they're the same
Why
age.
why aren't they hanging out together?
Because Aiden's got a boyfriend.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't ever see that. It's just, anyway, it could be really great. And maybe as summer is coming, because we know that the young kids.
Well, and on soaps, good kids never seen, bad kids seen. So we never see Scout.
We never see Charlotte, who's not a good kid.
I don't know what's going on with her. Yeah, I mean, again, she's back and nothing. She's back, but then she's gone. So
because
maybe Brad will be back.
Because Lulu is way more interested in other people's children than she is with her own. Let's face it. Oh,
yeah, true.
Lulu.
Hey, I heard from the source, our sister Snark Amanda, who cannot be with us this week, is coming to New York.
Oh, I heard
next month. So a little hell will be raised. We might even do the podcast together from New York. We'll see.
I would be so jealous because I've never met this guy in the flesh.
Yeah.
In the flesh. It sounds really creepy.
IRL in real life.
Yeah, IRL.
But when Amanda comes, there are many bars that are like the Brown Dog, which is far and away my favorite place, set, whatever you want to call it, on General Hospital because I feel it's the most realistic.
It's really
I
realistic.
feel like I'm in a bar.
Yeah.
I mean, take me to the Brown Dog and give me that Jason Statham lookalike bartender. I'm set. I'm good. Yeah,
Yeah,
him, the new goon, Sonny's new goon in his house.
Oh yeah, the new
and Amy's Asian friend. I want to know more about these guys who she was gossiping with. Now, see, that's when I like Amy because that's a good use of her when she was gossiping with her coworker, and then she goes over and starts, throwing darts at Willow.
Willow, I just want to tell you how brave we all think you are, and generous that you're willing to be seen with Drew after the display he made of himself. You're a saint.
Thank you.
That's a great use of Amy. If you keep doing that, I would want Amy on all the time because you need that person. You need that person who's not in a plot, not involved in a plot, to comment, like the viewer, on the plot. Oh, that's so nice you're staying with him, and he's done all those crazy things. Yeah.
Oh, and then we have Porsha giving Willow relationship advice in her office.
How are you?
It must be a lot to handle. How are you doing?
I'm fine. This was all just a big misunderstanding.
I hope so. And I'm so glad that you're holding up.
You know what, though? That's realistic. That happened to me in some jobs.
Your boss gave you relationship advice?
My boss, knew something was going on in my life and called me in, and you're like, why the hell am I being called in, And proceeded to like, are you okay? Yeah, so that struck me as weirdly realistic.
And it struck me as weirdly inappropriate.
Well, that too, but yeah, I don't think you can do that today. Today it might be looked at askance, but back then. But again, nobody ever said General Hospital takes place in 2025.
In some ways, yes. In other ways, whoa, no. Well, we are knee deep in this whole bribery. Let's drug Drew to get Willow away from him nonsense, and of course, the whole thing backfired in a glorious way. Not that I am Team Drew. Don't take that wrong, but I'm really not. Right. I'm not Team bribery or anything. I mean, it's great soapy fun, right? But it's like Nina and Porsha are going to get theirs, and Drew's going to get his, and Willow is still going to be, oh, I love everyone,
And I heard complaints this week. People were like, and it's true, it happened too fast. It was like, oh, his comeuppance at last, and it's like a day later.
Yes, he should have been squirming a lot longer before he redeemed himself.
Yeah, we kind of hustled through that for some reason. I don't know why.
And I still have a visceral reaction whenever I see Drew and Willow together. If you remember in yesterday's episode, it opened with Nina looking at the news conference on her iPad. And the minute he brought Willow in to stand beside him and kiss, I was like, like, I am so over these two.
I was like, I guess that's not a scandal anymore, him sleeping with his niece-in-law or whatever. What about Sonny this week? Sonny's mini crisis. We all knew he was going to be fine. We all knew he was going to get through that surgery. We all knew it was a blip in the radar. But
okay,
so
he's sitting on his couch, and Isaiah is. Didn't he just have open heart surgery like less than a week ago? Do people wander around dressed in a suit a week after they have open heart surgery? I'm like, this dude is bionic or something. I mean, this is pretty remarkable stuff he's pulling off for a guy. And his hair is newly blackened again. He looked very, I love when they put Dante and Sonny next to each other like this, and you're like, Sonny, your hair is very, very black. Oh, Dante, you're going gray. What is wrong with this picture?
Right. And you're also almost 20 years older than your son.
We've seen pictures of Maurice with his hair naturally.
He looks fine.
He looks better than fine. He looks great.
That was a big deal on Days of Our Lives when Drake Hogestein let himself go gray. But everybody loved him. Like, remember
look at
people
Rick.
Silver Fox?
Yeah. Rick with white hair is a completely different human than with regular hair. And I love him now, and I didn't love him then. I'm sure it's his hair.
I kind of like Dante more now that he's a little more grizzled and
Yeah, grizzling is
natural.
good, gentlemen.
Yeah. I've heard that, according to Maurice Bernard, that's a producer's decision, not
I think you're right.
his decision, but bad decision. Whosever idea it is, we know how to talk.
Do we? Do we know how to make
Occasionally.
complete sentences? I don't
Right.
know.
Occasionally we know how to talk.
So
who's
who's your character of the week?
Jinx. Geo.
Oh.
Say some of those facial reactions of his could have been in the Cameron Weber camp, because you remember how Cameron used to kind of give you all this big, but I thought it was completely appropriate because it was like Dante was just shattering his world. And as he said to Emma later, it's like, well, I guess I know what he really thinks of me now.
No. I think he finally told me what he really thinks of me. I always thought we got along fine, but now I know. He doesn't respect me at all.
Those were really powerful scenes.
Yeah.
So I think my character of the week, well, Geo, but I'm also going to say Jason.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Jason had some really great parenting moments with Danny, but also just the way he kind of handled Dante and Dante's kerfuffle. And Jason just feels really stable to me right now. Like
Just go around. Yeah.
Yeah, he's settling into things, and yes, he's still Sonny's henchman, but he's not out shooting people, which is always a nice thing. I don't know. Jason is working for me these days. I really like him. And as a side note, I would also throw in Emma, because I think she's great.
Right. And of course, your favorite character every week, Tracy.
She's so great.
Like they're introducing her to Marco. Yeah, nice to meet you. Anyway. And then she's like eating. And, again, it's the little things these actors do, whether they're directed or not. And then she's just plowing through and eating while everybody else is talking, and like get to the point.
Yeah, and she's like, I have only one agenda. The agenda is Sonny. I don't care about you or you or you or you. Just take care of Sonny, which is an interesting twist and fun, and I will look forward to it.
Again, a twist, but we've known Tracy has hated Sonny for years, and some writing regimes really highlight that and others haven't. So it's easy to forget, like, oh, they dropped that. Oh, now all of a sudden she's got a vendetta. No, she always did. All of the Quartermaines did. Just in recent years with like Carly just coming in and out of the Quartermaine mansion at will seemed odd because she was supposedly banned. But, at least we know it's still there. Let's hope this time it leads to something, please. Like Marco said, you got to coordinate this. You're not coordinated enough.
David, do you have a soap recommendation?
I do.
Good.
Douglas Sirk was a very famous director who emigrated from Germany after the Nazi Party killed his Jewish wife. So good enough reason. Did many, many films in his native Germany. If you really want to take a deep dive into this director's career, watch those early German films. I mean, they're amazing. But what Douglas Sirk was known for was melodrama. And some of his best melodramas, which a lot of people might know, are Magnificent Obsession with Jane Wyman and Rock Hudson, All That Heaven Allows, which was also a pairing of Jane Wyman and Rock Hudson. He did Backstreet. He did several other films. That's really like, if you want to concentrate on an era of films, all his 1950s and early 1960 era films are great, but they're basically just old soap operas, which is what melodrama is.
Yeah.
And they're great films to watch, readily available, streaming at your local library. If you're a collector like me, several of the films have Criterion Collection editions. Douglas Sirk, check them out. We'll throw some stuff in the comments, and I'm sure Mama Snark, when she edits this, will throw in some pics.
Who knows? Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows what Mama Snark does in the editing process? Let's check out Wicked Stepmother's text message. She is quite taken aback by our friend Dante's wildness. She said, and this was Wednesday. So she really called it. She goes, uh-oh, poor Dante is about to have his tirade explode in his face. And I just want to say, we can only hope. Because Dante needs to take some Xanax and maybe go on a little retreat and just kind of cool his jets for a second. Well, this has been a very interesting week, David. We have chatted about many things. Are we forgetting anything at all in our regular things? I think we're doing this.
So. I don't think so. Other than just a side note, because we also do a Beyond the Gates Snark. Well, they've been preempted all week.
Yeah, sports ball.
Not good for a new show.
No, and it hit at exactly the wrong time because we had a huge reveal, and then they preempted it, and then we had 2 episodes, and then another preemption, and it was it's.
Well, hopefully they did that on purpose.
I think they timed it as well as they possibly could. Yeah.
I hope they did that on purpose because then that'll get people coming back. But yeah, new soap opera. I mean, God, what? Not even 3 months.
Yeah, and they're preempting it.
Preempting it, but
it's doing very well. I have to say, I am not in the least disappointed in the writing in this show. It's very, very well done. Yeah.
Have a great week. Check us out. Substack. Where else we're the Snarkcast.
YouTube, Facebook, Substack, Instagram, not Twitter.
Although we're on Twitter, but it's mostly just reposts of other people's.
Yeah, David does Twitter.
Soap news. And you can also find the podcast on Twitter X, whatever it's called.
You can find the podcast on Spotify too.
There you go.
All right.
We have led you to the water. Drink.
See you guys. Bye.